Welcome to the town board meeting Thursday, June 17th. Please rise and salute the flag. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Emergency exits are behind the town clerk and also the door you came in. Roll, please.
Supervisor Perotti.
Here.
Councilpersons Doyle.
Here.
Smoji.
Here.
Morris.
Here.
And let the record reflect that Councilman Gutierrez will be absent this evening.
Is there any public comment?
Did not receive any written public comment.
Any supervisor report?
Lavelle Road Pump House upgrade. Supervisor Perotti is looking into low or no-cost options for on-site technical assistance to water systems, also assisting with water rates and grant applications from the New York Rural Water Association. Altice negotiations are in progress. American Rescue Package. The town of Amenia is completing the required forms sent by New York State to accept 50% of the funds that will be allocated, and the other 50% will be sent 12 months after the first payment. Economic development in downtown Amenia. In the last several months, 9 new businesses have opened. Bakery, landscaping company, bookstore, spa, barber shop, Hispanic goods and food store, cellular store, clothing store, and interior design. Four Brothers did a beautiful job renovating the former Doobie building. The building with the spa and barber shop is also being remodeled. Highway garage. After discussions with the highway superintendent, who has been looking at other towns' highway garages, in addition to the town board looking at ways to fund the highway garage and salt shed on the 5-acre property transferred to the town by state agencies, we are ready to send out an RFP for engineering services to design plans for a highway garage and salt storage facility using Leadership in Energy and Environmental Design, or LEED, certified building methods. NYSERDA has incentive funds for energy savings. In addition, DEC has grant funds available for a salt shed. CDBG sidewalk grants. The contractor marked out the area where the sidewalk will be replaced. The actual repair was delayed because the post office building owner had to replace the ramp and railing that goes into the post office at her expense before we could go out to bid for engineering and construction. The engineer, who was the low bid for the Route 44 project to Beekman Park, is working on the plan so we can go out to bid for the construction. Town of Amenia COVID-19. The Amenia Town Hall is open for business as usual Monday through Thursday at regular business hours and is following CDC guidelines, which advise that fully vaccinated people do not need to wear masks or be socially distanced, but unvaccinated people must continue to wear masks and be socially distanced. Signing the visitor log with contact information is required. COVID-19 vaccine information. Sign up on dutchessny.gov/vaccine info form or call the Dutchess County Coronavirus Information Line at 845-486-3555. Select option 1 to hear the weekly vaccine allocation updates, then select option 2 to be connected to the Office of the Aging and be added to the notification list. For anyone who is homebound, vaccine appointments can be made at 845-486-2555 to arrange for a vaccine appointment to be administered at home. I became aware of a mailer that was sent out to everybody that had erroneous information. First of all, this is the May operating statement. Under the Little League line, there is $2,000 available for any Little League teams or games. It also says a raise for the town supervisor. The supervisor line in the budget consists of the supervisor, 2 20-hour secretaries, and a 22-hour bookkeeper. So there are 4 people in that line. There was a 2% raise for all employees and town board members, not any raise just specifically for the town supervisor. $100,000 for the town attorney, and give the town attorney a raise. Our town attorney is under contract with the town. You can find the resolution on the website where we accepted his contract for this budget year. Anyone can look at the contract. It's available for anyone to look at. $100,000, when he bills us, he itemizes his bill, he puts in how much time he spends on each item so that we know exactly what we're paying for. And a great deal of this $100,000 was to handle cert cases for Silo Ridge. And a $1.1 million new heating system for Town Hall. This heating system is 5 years old, hardly new. And the reason it was put in, because there were 2 60-year-old steam boilers in this building when we moved in. One of them had to be decommissioned and could no longer be used. The other one, we had to fix the pump on it just to get through the winter. And then the heating units in each room, 3 of them failed, so we had to take radiators out of the hall, put it in 3 rooms just to get through the winter. When we spoke to a mechanical engineer, when we were trying to figure out the best heating system to put in the building, he told us that the size of the furnace were actually too big for the building. I guess apparently 60 years ago, bigger was better. So that was the whole purpose of the heating system that, as I said, is 5 years old. I just wanted to set the record straight. Town Clerk report.
Good evening. I'd like to start this evening off with what I usually end with, is the report of the activities going on in our community, and I would love to give a special shout out here to our class of 2021 graduates. You guys have really worked very hard. You've had a crazy year in school, out of school, online, on the computer, just everything you've gone through. Despite the challenges that you've had to face, each and every one of you should walk across that stage next week and be proud of your accomplishments. It's been a year unlike any other. None of your parents have been able to experience what you're going through, so when we say we understand, we really can't say we understand because it is something new, but yet that's what makes each one of you super special, and we are extremely proud of you. So special love and congratulations to my daughter Carly. I know you will do wonderful things in the future. So to Carly and her fellow classmates of the class of 2021, congratulations. And start with the business of the evening. Presenting to the town board is our minutes of our previous meetings of May 20th and June 2nd. Has everybody had the opportunity to read them over? I know Jim said yes, and he was happy with them, but
Yes.
ask everybody.
Yes.
Ready to move on accepting them, or
I'll move
one at a
on to May
time?
20th.
May 20th, Jim,
I second.
Michelle, Supervisor Perotti,
Yes.
Councilpersons Doyle,
Yes.
Samoji,
Yes.
Morris,
Yes,
and then June 3rd.
Motion to approve the June 3rd minutes.
Doyle,
Second.
Michelle, Supervisor Perotti,
Yes.
Councilpersons Doyle,
Yes.
Samoji,
Yes.
and Jim.
abstain.
Oh,
Thank you. I knew he was going to do that. And our final tax collection report is in. Our final payment was made to the county. Of the total taxes this year, the total amount collected was, will be $6,411,314.21. That includes all of the fees and all of the notices that were sent out. We do incur that additional cost. This year, for total penalties, we collected $18,472.66. We've collected an additional $64 for our notice fees. So base rate tax collection was $6,133,000 $1,359.34. So that's exciting to be behind us in the office. I do present with regret, I have 2 resignations that I'm in receipt of. The first one is from a Recreation Commission member, and that's Kenny Elliott. And our second resignation is from the Housing Board, and that would be Miss Erica Doyle.
I make a motion that we accept the resignation of Kenny Elliott from the Recreation Commission
I second it.
With regret.
with regrets.
Yeah.
Of course.
He was very helpful in some of the projects for the Recreation Commission, especially he worked on the basketball hoops.
Supervisor Prody?
Yes.
Councilpersons Doyle?
Yes.
Samoji?
Yes.
Morris?
Yes.
Motion to accept with regret Erica Doyle's appointment to the Housing Board.
Second.
Supervisor Prody?
Yes.
Councilpersons Doyle?
Yes.
Samoji?
Yes.
Morris?
Yes.
Earlier this evening, prior to the start, the town board had the opportunity to interview 2 candidates who have expressed an interest on serving on one for the Housing Board and one for the Open Board of Ethics position. Did the board want to make and have any conversations with that tonight, or are you ready to move forward?
Yes. I'll make the motion that we appoint them both.
We'd have to
And
do
for
one
the-
at a
One
time.
at a time.
So Stacy Mansell will be for the Housing Board.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Michelle. Supervisor Perotti?
Yes.
Councilpersons Doyle?
Yes.
Samoji?
Yes.
Morris?
Yes.
And then the other candidate that you met with this evening was Jeff Burnett Wimsby, and he's looking to serve on the Ethics Board. That will be an unexpired term to expire on December 31st of 2023.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Michelle.
Yes.
Oh, Supervisor.
Sorry.
Okay, we can start. Well, she said yes already. Supervisor?
Yes.
Michelle?
Yes.
Joe?
Yes.
Also acknowledging in our packets and what's been circulated prior to the meeting was our May monthly report from SEBI Environmental Services. It does indicate that for May, we had a water usage of 2,033,300 gallons. He does in here itemize out the customer calls, the water line markouts for the Dig Safe New York, emergency responses and repairs that he attended to, and the other miscellaneous items that he'd performed this month.
Does anybody have any idea why it went up by 500,000 gallons in May? That seems like it's a record high. I don't remember it hitting 2 million, but is anybody, shall I call him and see if there's a good?
Yeah, you can just call, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't get anything further than these for detail, but that's a good question. Also acknowledging receipt for all of us prior to tonight's meeting was our operating statement and our balance sheets. And then that will lead into certifying that the vouchers on the abstract that was also circulated earlier this week to each of us, consisting of 7 pages, has been audited and reviewed by my office, and I present the following for payment. General Fund A, $85,950.68. Highway Fund, $22,818.01. Amenia Lighting, $1,589.74. Wasake Lighting, $587.53. Amenia Water, $6,122.18, for a total of our abstract this evening, $117,068.14.
I make a motion that we approve the vouchers to be paid as read.
Second.
Supervisor Perotti?
Yes.
Councilpersons Doyle?
Yes.
Samoji?
Yes.
Morris?
Yes.
And Supervisor, I just want to get consent and approval. I know back in February or March, we started the conversation of creating and updating our building use form. I've had some requests to use the building and our baseball fields, but I know our baseball fields have been very busy with baseball games and soccer activities.
Right.
Is that all right? I just follow up with the attorney to
Please.
see if we can get that up and going? Okay.
That needs to be approved before we actually put it
Yeah,
into
so I
use.
want to
Yeah.
kind of remind Ian.
Yeah.
We had
Well,
talked
we'll
about
have
it if we, but I mean,
Yeah.
before I do that, I want to make sure it's okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, we can have it ready for the next meeting, it's July 1st.
I know there's just so many activities at the ball field that I was hesitant in, presenting any opportunities to use. So once we get that form, I think we can be a little clearer. That'll conclude the town clerk's report for this evening. Thank you.
Thank you.
Resolution number?
Megan's here.
Oh, Megan, we almost forgot
I
Megan.
didn't do her report because she's next to me.
Okay.
Does Megan look good at the town board?
Well, I was going to do it under other matters, but what we're going to do is we're going to move up the other matters up to now.
See, Meg, I told you, you're right after me. Right after me. You like that?
Okay. So our 2019 dump truck is currently in the shop. It has a vibration in the transmission. It is on a warranty, and they've had it for a few weeks. They sent the oil out, transmission oil out to get tested, trying to figure out what's going on. So it is on a warranty, so hopefully everything will be covered. This month we have the shared paver. We've been cutting shoulders, replacing some rotten pipes, and fixing some catch basins. The last 3 days, we have done some shimming. We've blacktopped Benton Road, Under Mountain, and Old Cross Road in Wassaic with the help of the other towns. And project for this year. Which was sent out. I like the blacktop Nelson Hill Road, Borden Lane, Furnace Bank, and Main Street in Wassaic this year. I did it two ways. The roads that I just said in option 1, and then option 2, I took out Borden Lane just to get the price differences. And I did get 4 quotes. I got 3 off the OGS quick quote and 1 off the county bid. The cheapest was Callahan Industries for option number 1. That's blacktopping everything. They come in, mill everything, clean everything up for $141,397.45. Peckham's for option 1, again everything, $158,972.22. Calaruso, option number 1, $160,470. And the county bid came in at $162,760.10. So I like to blacktop everything. It's Nelson Hill, Borden Lane, Furnace Bank, and Wassaic, Main Street in Wassaic. I plan on paying with this through CHIPS, Pave New York, Winter Recovery. I have a balance of $147,684, or $684.82.
So you have more than enough money to pay for it?
Yes.
That's what you're
Yes.
telling me?
So you're recommending we accept the lowest bid of Callahan
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
for $141,397.45?
Yes.
Okay, I make a motion that we accept the low bid of Callahan for $141,397.45.
I
This will
second.
be paid by using CHIPS, Pave New York, EWRS,
Winter Recovery.
Winter Recovery, funding of which I currently have a total of $147,684.82. And you second?
I second, yes.
I don't have a date for it yet, but as soon as I know, I will let everybody know.
Okay.
Supervisor Perotti?
Yes.
Councilperson Doyle?
Yes.
Samoji?
Yes.
Morris?
Yes.
I'd like to thank Megan for dropping off a load of chips at the Borden Park so that the volunteers at Borden Park, the Amenia Garden Club, can preserve their plantings that are very nice down there. Thank you very much. You did a great job on the signs, and now the park landscaping is looking very good too. Thank you.
Is that the chips that were in back of the building here?
They're probably from county sheriff
No,
stations, no?
These trees was out doing trees on Poland Road, and I stopped and asked him.
So they deposited them there for
Yeah, he
us?
dropped them down at the garage and we brought them up.
No.
Okay. Appreciate that extra help. It
Oh,
makes a
that's
big
good.
difference. And it's free, so,
Yes.
thank you.
So the chips are for the playground?
The chips.
Wood chips.
Wood
the
chips,
wood-
they're
yeah,
mulch,
the
mulch for the
wood-
gardens.
Yeah, I understand. Those were given to us free
Yes.
for the playground. No.
That's Sean Howard's working on that. We have to,
No, you have to get a
Safety,
specific
Oh,
playground mulch for that.
For that. Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
And he knows where to get it through state bid,
Oh, okay.
because he also orders it through Dover, his other job.
Oh, okay, so that's for
He'll
the
be taking care of that.
the playground. Chips for the playground. And the chips that you got are for Borden.
Mulch.
Mulch. It's
mulching.
mulch.
Mulching,
Mulch.
for mulching flowers
For mulching flat Borden Park.
and
Okay.
plants.
I want to also thank Megan because she's been very responsive to neighbors in my community for people who have noticed unsafe county highway situations, and she helped promote and get me to the right person to report that, and the unsafe shoulder that caused 2 blowout tires in one day on one car was patched within a couple of days. So I really appreciate the help expediting that request so that somebody didn't get hurt. Thank you.
And Victoria, can you get me the Metro North number so I can coordinate what I have to do for the railroad check?
Well, I forwarded you the tick
Yes. I have that.
information. It's the same person.
Okay. Okay.
So it would be the same person who gave me the information about what they use for ticks when they're working along
Finding lots of them.
the trail. And if you have any trouble getting a hold of him or anybody, just let me know. I'll get you another contact.
Okay.
so our first resolution is number 36.
Read my mind.
Aye.
Resolution for Workforce Housing Trust Fund. Resolution authorizing the town supervisor to create and open a town workforce housing trust fund. Whereas the town board of the town of Amenia adopted a workforce housing law in recognition that people with moderate incomes who work in Amenia and/or provide volunteer services to the town lack opportunity to find housing within the town that is affordable to them. Whereas the town board of the town of Amenia, by Resolution 35 of 2014, adopted an amendment to the workforce housing law establishing a fee to be paid in lieu of providing workforce housing. Whereas the amendment established a fee to be paid into a dedicated town workforce housing trust fund as an alternative to the construction of workforce housing where such housing is either mandated or available as a condition of a density bonus. Whereas the amendment authorized the creation of a town workforce housing trust fund for the purpose of receiving funds from payments and/or fees and/or gifts collected or received by the town pursuant to the town's workforce housing law. Whereas such a workforce housing trust fund shall be a segregated municipal fund administered by the town board. Whereas the workforce housing trust fund shall be used exclusively to provide the acquisition, purchase, planning, development, construction, improvement, rehabilitation, sale or resale, rental subsidy support, or other legal means of creating or supporting more workforce housing for income-qualified households within the town and/or to provide or make capital improvements to water and/or sewer infrastructure to the hamlets of Amenia and Wassaic, provided the town board, after consultation with the town housing board, shall determine that such contribution to such infrastructure substantially advances the town's goal of increasing the availability of workforce housing for the intended beneficiaries of the workforce housing program. Whereas any interest earned or accrued on monies deposited in the Workforce Housing Trust Fund shall be accredited to and become part of said fund, and whereas in no event shall monies deposited into the Workforce Housing Trust Fund be transferred to any other account unless such transfer shall be determined by the town board after consultation with the housing board to be in furtherance of the workforce housing goals of the town as set forth in the Workforce Housing Program. And whereas the cost of administering the Workforce Housing Trust Fund as it is applied toward advancing the Workforce Housing Program shall not exceed 10% of the average fund balance for each calendar year. Now therefore be it resolved as follows. 1, the recitations set forth above are incorporated in this resolution as if fully set forth and adopted herein. 2, the town board of the town of Amenia hereby authorizes and directs the town supervisor to open and create the town of Amenia Workforce Housing Trust Fund to be administered by the town board in accordance with the workforce housing law. The town board hereby authorizes the town supervisor to execute any and all documentation necessary to open and create said workforce housing trust fund. Is there a motion?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second. I have a question.
Yes.
So, middle of the page, on page 2, whereas the costs of administering the Workforce Housing Trust Fund, does anybody know, is there, it doesn't have to be answered now because it's not going to change my vote, but it would be...
There's no cost. It's just going to be set up as a regular account.
Okay, so costs of administering the Workforce Housing Trust Fund, we don't know of any administration costs now?
No.
Okay.
No.
So by hiring the planning board, the planner for the town to look at our code as we authorized last meeting would not be called administering, it's actually doing the work of the housing board, trying to find ways that the current laws that exist for the town of Amenia already incentivize.
Right.
And look for ways to further incentivize. That's not called administration. That's, I mean, I'd like to know what the definition of administration of this fund might include. That's just a question I have for understanding how this works.
Okay.
Supervisor Perotti?
Yes.
Councilpersons Doyle?
Yes.
Samoji?
Yes.
Morris?
Yes.
Okay, resolution for transfer of funds, 37. Whereas budget amendment in the general fund, increasing expense line 71104.01 Amenia Park CE by $1,721.50, increasing revenue line 2680.01 insurance recoveries by $721.50, and decreasing expense line 73104.01.095 Youth Program CE Connie Mac by $1,000 for unanticipated security system replacement cost. Whereas budget amendment in the general fund, increasing revenue line 2705.01 gifts and donations by $500, and increasing expense line 71404.01.091 playground rec CE Easter egg hunt by $500. Whereas budget amendment in the general fund, increasing revenue line 2701.01 refunds from prior year's expenses by $3,000, and increasing expense line 11104.01.065 Justice Court CE supplies by $1,000, increasing 13554.01.074 Assessor CE supplies by $1,000, and increasing expense line 14104.01.074 Town Clerk CE supplies by $1,000 for refund from prior year's expenses for door project completed this year. Whereas budget amendment to the general fund, increasing expense line 80104.01.074 zoning CE supplies by $54.34, and decreasing expense line 80104.01.048 zoning CE conferences by $54.34 for additional costs. Whereas budget amendment increasing expense line 13554.01.044 Assessor CE certs by $2,000, and decreasing expense line 13554.01.040 Assessor CE account support by $1,440, and decreasing expense line 13554.01.048 Assessor CE conferences by $560 for unanticipated certiorari lawsuit cost. Whereas budget amendment in the Highway Fund, increasing expense line 17104.03 Administration Contractual Highway by $337.50, and decreasing expense line 51424.03 Snow Removal CE by $337.50 for collective bargaining legal fees. Now therefore be it resolved, the Town Board authorizes a transfer of necessary budget lines to process the transactions. I make that motion.
A second?
I'll second.
Supervisor Perotti?
Yes.
Councilpersons Doyle?
Yes.
Samoji?
Yes.
Morris?
Yes.
Okay, in other matters, we have Resolution 38. Resolution authorizing Michael Haggerty, the Town of Amenia grant writer, to prepare a request for proposals for design plans for a highway garage and salt storage facility using leadership in energy and environmental design, LEED, certified building methods. Whereas the Town Board of the Town of Amenia is seeking to develop a design plan for a new public works facility on newly acquired town property, which will include a town highway garage and salt storage facility. Whereas the Town Board of the Town of Amenia is seeking to prepare requests for proposals for engineering services from qualified professional engineering firms to provide a design and formulate construction plans, specifications, and cost estimates, assist with seeker review, provide construction support, and associated contract administration and inspection services as necessary for the project entitled Design Plans for a Highway Garage and Salt Storage Facility using Leadership in Energy and Environmental Design, LEED, certified building materials. Whereas the Town of Amenia desires to authorize Michael Haggerty, the Town of Amenia grant writer, in conjunction with the attorney to the town, to prepare the specifications for the request for proposals for the aforementioned engineering services in accordance with the town's procurement policy and in accordance with General Municipal Law, Section 103. Now therefore be it resolved, 1, the recitations set forth above are incorporated in this resolution as it fully set forth and adopted herein. The Town Board of the Town of Amenia hereby authorizes Michael Haggerty, in conjunction with the attorney to the town, to prepare the specification for the requests for proposals for engineering services in connection with the design plans for a highway garage and salt storage facility using Leadership in Energy Environmental Design, LEED, certified building methods. 3, the request for proposals shall be published in the official newspaper of the town. 4, upon receipt of the proposals, the Town Board shall review the same and award a contract for the aforementioned engineering services in accordance with the town's procurement policy and General Municipal Law, Section 103. 5, the town supervisor hereby authorized to execute any and all documents necessary to effectuate this resolution. Is there a motion?
I'll make the motion.
A second.
Okay.
Doesn't matter.
Supervisor Perotti,
Yes.
Councilpersons Doyle,
Yes.
Morris,
Yes.
Samaji.
Yes.
Okay, town board comments?
Go ahead.
Oh, let me go ahead, thank you. I just have a question about opening up for recreation in the town hall. I understand that the line dancing was supposed to start this evening on the
It did.
It did
It did.
start? It did start? Okay. What time were they starting? Do you know?
5:30 to 6:30?
Oh, is it? Okay, all right. I didn't realize it was that time. That was just my question about it. 6:30. The other thing that I noticed in the paper was that Millerton Senior Center is now opening to feed the seniors. They can eat food now, meals in their center. I was wondering, has anything else come down to us for senior centers that can open, aside from Millerton? Because I saw that in the paper.
That was the only one I saw.
That's the only one you saw? That's the only one I saw too. Okay, so I'm just questioning that, wondering about that. That's my question. My other thing here is for the senior picnic, ladies and gentlemen. Last time, I don't think I made it particularly clear that if you are a homebound senior, you can get a meal delivered to you, because I have volunteers from Amenia and from Tally Ho. Whichever location, wherever you are, I have volunteers that will bring you the meal. You just have to let me know who you are, where you are, and we will get the meal to you. You don't have to get your ticket or anything like that. Those tickets will be handed to the person delivering your meal, and they will turn that ticket in, all right? So you can still call in if you thought that you couldn't because you were not homebound. And I have to tell you, I have 40 meals left. So please call me if you hear this. My phone number is 877-9430. If you thought that because you were homebound you wouldn't get a meal, no, we're delivering. I have 2 volunteers in Amenia. I'll name them. Victoria Parati will do Amenia, and so will Nancy, our secretary, who's upstairs, will do Amenia also. So we have already 2 volunteers there, and we have a couple of volunteers down in Tally Ho who will do that down there. So don't be disheartened. Just come and do it. It's going to be a wonderful, wonderful thing. It's put on by the food is prepared by the Amenia Fire Company. And believe me, if you went to last week when you got your steak sandwich or whatever you got, you know you're going to have a terrific meal. The water compliments of Amenia Fresh Town. And so please call me. Please sign up. Now, on another note, the Lake George Luncheon Boat Trip on Wednesday, August 18th, which costs $42 per person, $2 cash tip for drivers. And the bus departs Tally Ho at 7:45 a.m. and the Town Hall of Amenia at 8 a.m. The boards at 11 a.m., sales 12 noon, board docks at 2 o'clock, and 2 to 4 Lake George Mall, whatever. Anyway, bus leaves 4 p.m. and returns to Amenia at 7 p.m. Please write your checks to the Town of Amenia. Town of Amenia. And make them as soon as possible. If you've called me and said, Michelle, I'm on the list, you're on the list, but you got to get your check in to me, okay? And it's to me, Michelle Samaji, 149 Scott Drive, Dover Plains, New York, 12522. For details, you can call 877-9430. The seats are on the lower deck. Please bring, if you need a walker or a cane, please bring it. And snacks if you're a diabetic.
and fill and mail back the registration form. If it came in a packet to you when I mailed things to you and you got it in the mail from me, please fill out that registration form and send it back. If you didn't get one, we'll get you one so you can fill it out, because I have to turn them in to let the town know who's on the bus and who's going where. So it's just a little bit of legality we got to do, just a little bit. Now, the really tough part is I have 12 seats left of the 40 I've been guaranteed. I might be able to go higher, but I really have to know that you want to attend and you're sending me your money, so when I call up Lake George, I can increase the amount. JTR will be getting us the bus that has the ramp that goes down for people with wheelchairs, so they'll be able to get on the bus and be comfortable. All right? And I think I've told you everything. Once again, you call me. 877-9430. Believe me, my phone's been ringing off the hook. Every time I walk the dogs, the phone blows up. But please call me. It's okay, all right? And thank you so much for everything.
Vicki?
I have a question about the auditorium, whether or not we've gotten any bids organized from outside bidders for trying to understand what it's going to cost to duplicate this system into our auditorium for the Altice negotiations, so that we can find out what it costs to duplicate that, so we can hold large televised meetings that will meet open meetings law in the auditorium when we have audiences that exceed the capacity of this town boardroom, which is limited. I think it's important for us to move forward on that, and I know Roger Connor had offered his services, but being a consultant for Altice, it may not be the ideal person. Ballantine Communications, I've worked with them in Pleasant Valley. It's not very far away. They have looked at the auditorium before. They're very good. They do sound systems. That's what they do. We've had a neighbor who's an acoustic expert who lives in Wassaic offer to help. And Marshall Miles, I understand, Victoria, how would you guys like to proceed? We're waiting for Damien. He's reached out to 3 companies, but they're outside the normal geographic region.
I think we ought to go with local people.
So maybe Ballantine Communications, who have come out in the past, and see if they will
Yeah,
come?
have them come out and take a look and give us a plan.
Mike, do you have suggestions for, I don't understand all of this equipment, but I suppose I would work with you to get them access or whatever they need to know?
We have taken this equipment to the auditorium and videoed and done all of this with what we have here. We just move it there. We just can't broadcast it live. We replay it later. We have the system right here.
Isn't it?
We used it during Silo Ridge hearings. We've used it multiple
Yeah, but it's quite a job to move. You just move the camera, videotape it. So does that meet open meetings laws?
Yes. I
broadcast
just
it
wondered
later?
about the acoustics. Was
The
the
acoustics
acoustics,
have
was that
never
ever
been
a
good.
problem?
Worked fine for us before. Go back and look at the videos where we've done it.
Yeah.
Okay.
We've had no issues that I'm aware of, and we've got a portable microphone as well. We have done this before.
Yeah.
We want to reinvent the wheel.
So here's my problem, Mike, is that when we have had performances in there, and maybe that's different from a speaking audience versus a performance, the echo is so traumatizing for these little performers that it really throws them off stride.
That has nothing to do with this system. That's a whole different ballgame.
So sound system deadening and improving the acoustics would be good. And I also don't think that it's enough to just move that every time we want to hold a performance. I think it's very difficult and complicated. So for us to put on,
It's not complicated, Vicki.
but I need to pay you to bring it in there. If there were a dedicated system, we could have volunteers who learned how to use the system and could do it,
Would we need
do
a
our
sound
rehearsals,
system
do
too?
everything. We don't need it just the day of. We need the sound system so they can practice with that, which means it would need to be in there for 4 months.
Do what you want to do. You asked me a question, I told you what we've done.
Yeah. But
We've done hearings down there before, many times.
So you don't need help, you don't need to assist us in the request that we're going to make from Altice? That's fine. We'll do it ourselves.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yes, but the
Appreciate it.
equipment is very expensive that you want to move down there. We would have to take it out of that auditorium and place it into a secured place. It could not.
It could be locked.
It is.
Auditorium is locked.
No,
It can be locked.
No, this
auditorium?
equipment here.
this equipment would come back here.
Yes, this equipment has to live here 99%
Has
of
to-
the time.
I mean, this is where it
It
resides.
resides. But if you're talking about getting the same system, this is why I'm trying to follow the train, to go down to the auditorium, if you do that same system down the auditorium, it has to have a secured location to be locked into and be protected because it's,
They're talking about hardwiring a system specifically for that much bigger thing.
oh, it's, okay.
This is a portable system that can be used for meetings, for public hearings and all. Yes, when it comes to the thing, no, it's not designed for that. It's designed for public hearings and speaking.
I see.
It's not the same
It moves very easily, so I'm simply saying for your hearings, you already have a system for that.
Okay. But
If you want, for shows and everything, that's a...
So I understand there's a difference, yeah.
yeah, you have to do hard wiring in there, you're gonna have to have a special kind of speaker.
For on-stage
And
performance.
the stage has to have the better curtains and stuff to make it
So
work.
if we were to do that, then you wouldn't have to move the equipment?
Whatever you want to do. I'm just-
No, I'm just asking.
No,
We have
I-
done hearings and stuff there multiple times. That's all I'm saying. We
Yeah.
have a system for that. What you're talking about,
It's-
yeah, you want
that's
to
a-
bring somebody in.
that's an expensive, I think that's gonna be a very expensive thing. to
Well,
put in the-
it doesn't hurt to have somebody come in
And tell us about
and
it.
give us an
An
estimate.
estimate, because you're looking at a performance type of area there in the auditorium.
You might be looking at some other issues too, as far as the acoustics are concerned in that room. I don't know what it's like.
They're difficult. And sound, I don't know, there are panels and such that people use to help absorb the bouncing of the live echoing
Well,
that
that should be
goes on.
something that the person you were going to get could address too.
Valentine has
Yeah.
looked at it and made recommendations, but we didn't have money. But I think that Altice is eager to settle and have offered to do some sound systems for us so that we can have performances and speaking without hiring somebody to move all his equipment specifically there. That's not always an option.
I know when we did the concert, the last Christmas we were able to celebrate here, I know that the sound went through the auditorium very well, and I know that it went very well onto the screen when we played it on the TV. People could
So a
hear it.
band is a little different. I think they're all, if you are trying to sing or enunciate, it's a little bit different. I'm not a sound expert, but I know that there has been difficulty in the past trying to, A, rehearse and learn how to use the system, and waiting until the last minute doesn't usually work very well because the performers don't understand how it's working and aren't used to that.
Right. Well,
There are issues.
yeah, well,
Well, it doesn't
band
hurt,
is
it doesn't
different.
hurt to
A
get
band
an
is different.
doesn't
estimate.
hurt to look, okay, yeah, you're right, doesn't hurt to go and look
Right.
and investigate it.
So the other question I had, and I'm sorry I didn't see that in my emails, is a report on the cable being extended to the houses on the Sharon border.
I sent you the email. It's still with NYSEC.
Okay, they still have not,
It isn't that they haven't, they had to get permissions from homeowners.
for easements on the property.
Right.
Okay.
So that's where they are now.
Okay, I'll look for that again. LED lights, I had a report from a neighbor who said that the LED lights are a big improvement in 4 areas. She says, number 1, they're cheaper to operate. She understands that the initial investment will be paid back within the same year of installation and pay us back handsomely all throughout heretofore. Basically, we're going to have a a big savings on our lighting bills.
$13,000.
Not a small item. There's less glare coming into the houses near streetlights. She says she no longer needs blackout curtains in bedrooms that face the streetlights. She says it makes it possible to see the stars. Less light leakage preserves the view of the night sky. The light beam is directed to the street and sidewalk surface, and it doesn't spread outside of the beam cone. Complies with the town code for dark sky fixtures. The fourth improvement, she says, is the improved appearance of Amenia. Fixture profile is slim and more attractive and looks more like a town street fixture than a highway fixture. This coming from an architect, so she notices those kind of details. If the town gets any complaints about glare of LED on a hill or when one is directly under the fixture, she recommends contacting the installers. I guess the town would contact the installers. She says she notices there is no lens on the lights, and it may be that they make some kind of lens or shield to correct certain conditions. So in her situation, it works perfectly, but with different variations of terrain, you might find it incidentally, goes into shines into your light, into your house or some other less than ideal situation. I've had a report from a committee member state that, they've had 3 consecutive absences by a committee member, and what is the process for going forward? I can look that up, or is that up to the committee chair to recommend?
That's part of the current committee, yeah.
Sends a letter to us.
It's a letter from us recommending?
The chair should send a letter
Uh-huh.
to us.
Okay.
That way we know the dates of the meetings and
Yeah.
that they were unexcused absences and that there was no prior notification of said absence. And then the board can discuss it according to our current guidelines.
Okay.
And what steps have been taken to confirm with that individual regarding their absence should probably be included, because I'm sure that's a question somebody would ask.
Sorry, what was the,
You should, has the chair reached out to that individual
okay.
and had that initial conversation with them to make them aware of the rule?
Okay.
And if they acknowledge that, you may get a resignation.
Okay.
Which will be simpler before you have to take somebody off of an appointed.
Okay. Skateboard park, are you going to talk about the skateboard lessons and the insurance issues that have been somewhat resolved?
I read the letter from our insurance broker, which is good news. The question that I have is he a company agent or is he the town's agent? Do you know what I mean by that? If he is deemed under the law to be the company agent, he binds them by saying what he said in that email. If he is deemed our agent, he does not bind the company. You still don't seem to understand.
I think he's our agent and that he
Yeah, because of the
he
grant.
works on behalf.
Right.
If he's deemed our agent, I'd like to get something from the company itself.
Yeah, I think that's what you're, but I thought he did his research and, I see, and so it's his statement, but you,
But he doesn't bind the
I
company.
see, I
He
see,
binds us.
right. Okay,
So that's all, I'd like to see something from the company itself.
I see.
But it's
Well, they
very
did the
it's very
research,
good
so-
news, though,
yeah,
as far
yeah.
as I'm concerned.
as far, and you're speaking particularly about the skateboard park that may or may not ever take shape.
Yeah, I don't know about that. I don't know whether it's going to happen or not. but-
So the
but as far as-
concern,
as
Well,
far
you're
as
just
the
talking about the
individual-
lessons?
Pardon me?
Are you just talking about the lessons?
I'm just talking about the individual being able to participate in this program under the stipend, which does not require individual insurance on his part. That's what I'm talking about.
Right.
And as far as I'm concerned, that's a good thing.
okay. Yeah, no, I liked his response. It was very specific about what could and couldn't
Yeah.
work for us for grant-funded instructors who clearly are not going to be able to afford their own insurance because they're doing this as a favor to the town and have specific talents but aren't in business, right?
Right.
We have people in the community who want to share their talents. That's all I have. Thank you.
Okay.
Are there any other town board comments?
Nothing?
Well, I think we're ready for the Jim Morris
I will move that we adjourn.
And I will second that.
56, Michelle.
Supervisor Perotti?
Yes.
Councilpersons Doyle,
Yes.
Somogyi,
Yes.
Morris.
Yes.
That was quick.